Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. There's a story out of Zero Hedge that I think is worth addressing because to say that there are a lot of things happening right now with the current president and the White House and what is happening with our past president trying to run and get back into the White House is unprecedented. We are seeing things happening so fast, unravel so quickly. Quite frankly, it is mind-boggling. I asked a question in this live chat. What do you think? What are your thoughts about the current presidency, the current White House? I also asked for a poll. Do you think Biden should even run again? I think it's very important for people to know this. And the reason why I want to highlight this story is because it shows the pure mindset of what is going on, who is running our presidency. You'll notice from the thumbnail that I used, there is issues with substances being found in the White House, like cocaine. Another vaccine that he is looking to, and he said in his own words, as videotaped, looking to make mandatory because all the other vaccines don't work. This one just came out in perfect time for this new variant coming out of Canada. This one's going to work this time. And he is mulling over the thought of everybody getting this, whether you had the first shot and all the boosters or none at all, forcing you to take something, to put something in your body. But he not only has cocaine in his White House, he doesn't only have this travesty to deal with, he's also got his son, which is a train wreck in and of itself, and a laptop with lots of information. That there are people at high levels of three-letter agencies that have seen this information, yet for some reason we can't see it. There are so many horrible things going on right now, and that is why I wanted to highlight this story that I'm going to read right here on Zero Hedge, because he just admitted his greatest fear. The leader of the free world, the leader of America, just admitted his greatest fear. With all of things going on, this is what his greatest fear is. And type 1 if you think this absolutely proves how much of a moron this guy is. Type 2 if you think it's rational. This is out of Zero Hedge. It's entitled Simple Joe. Biden's biggest fear is being perceived as, quote unquote, stupid, according to a biographer. That's what the leader of the free world thinks about right now. He cares what people perceive him as. I'm going to be honest with you, it's hard to keep a straight face. But let's go into the story, and then we're going to talk about this. President Joe Biden, who lied about graduating at the top of his class at law school and later apologized, is most worried about being perceived as stupid, according to his biographer, Franklin Fiore. This is his biographer. During a Sunday discussion, Fiore, an Atlantic staff writer who was allegedly a key disseminator of Russiagate propaganda. You'd have to be a great liar to be Joe Biden's biographer, I got to be honest with you. That's really what I think. Told NBC's Meet the Press that one of the primary insecurities of the president is that he does not want to be perceived as stupid. Now, first off, let me take a quick break and thank the moderators in this video, because I'm sure that lots of fact checkers and people that want to push propaganda on you are going to jump into this video. They're going to pop into the live stream. They're going to pop into the comment section. They're going to try and shove this down because they don't want the truth out there. But at least Biden's showing you the truth. He doesn't care about what's going on in the country, all of the scandals around him, the money that's being received by his family from countries like China. He cares about what you think about him. This is insane. But it says here that the president, one of the primary insecurities of the leader of the free world is that he does not want to be perceived as stupid. Type 3 if you think his fears are very justified. And if I could type 3 right now, I'd type it. And when asked how he would react if Biden decided not to run in 2024, this was asked of his biographer. Fiore said, "It would be a surprise to me, but it wouldn't be a total surprise." What kind of common is that? It'd be a surprise to me if he didn't run, but it wouldn't be a total surprise. Well, that Fiore, his biographer, should become a politician. That's called doublespeak. But it wouldn't be a total surprise. When he talks about his life, he uses this word fate. constantly. Forward told host Chuck Todd, Joe Biden is a very religious guy. Well, I guess Church of Satan is actually up there. It's making a move in this country. He's not following my religion. I guarantee you that. And when I mean religion is just a bunch of rules set up by man. I'm gonna be fully forward with you. I do not believe Joe Biden has a relationship with Jesus Christ. All right. So he may be set up with a bunch of rules by man, and that's because he's a puppet. That's what puppets do. They follow the rules of men. They do not have an internal self-guiding process of their spirit. They follow men. That's what puppets are. I mean, this is a puppet, which ironically nowadays the Swedish Chef is starting to have very similar to Joe Biden. Yeah. It's really interesting to me, but that's what his fear is right now. Forward told host Chuck Todd, Joe Biden is a very religious guy. And fate is a word loaded with religious meaning. No, it's not. And he always talks about he can't say where fate goes. And so I always, when I hear that, to me, it's the ellipsis in the sentence when he's talking about his own future. Wow, isn't that a spin? I didn't know this is the spin factor. Fate has nothing to do with you're going to ultimately meet your fate if you make good decisions or bad. That's evident. But sowing and reaping is a law of this land. And I can tell you right now, and we're seeing it right now, Biden is reaping what he has sown for so many years. It says right here, and this is from the Daily Mail, there are already 2 Democrats running long shot bids in the Democratic primary, Robert Kennedy Jr. and Marianne Williamson. Both attended the Iowa State Fair last month in an attempt to drum up support for an alternative Democratic candidate. They're losing so much face, it's insane. It was one thing to deal with Hillary Clinton. It's another thing to deal with, total mean and vindictive, right? And it's straight up evil, in my opinion. Now you're dealing with like just a puppet that's just like limp puppet that's worth nothing. So now the Democrats are scrambling to try and find somebody with some type of stature, some type of logic. A poll last week revealed that 77% of Americans are concerned about Biden's age. 100% of them should be concerned that he's a complete lunatic. But hey, sorry, it's just type 5 if you agree with that. Type 6 if you don't. It's a democracy. You can go either way. 77% of Americans are concerned with Biden's age and the ability to serve out a second term. Like, I'm afraid of the guy walking upstairs, quite frankly, let alone running the free world and having the codes and our nuclear codes. But hey, that's just me. If either Biden or Trump were elected again in 2024, now check this out, they would set a new record as the oldest ever inaugurated U.S. president. Well, okay, let's just say this, because that was the big deal. Remember when Trump was running? Everyone's like, his age, he's old, he's senile, and all his doctors like, you kidding me? This dude's, what was it, the military doctors like, this guy's in better shape than me. And he runs a massive company and can speak in full sentences, right? And then you've got a babbling fool, totally different, right? Now, I believe personally that is because of the way they both live their lives. You have on one side a sober man that is running businesses and employs lots of people. On the other side, you have somebody that has been employed by the people, has been with his wife, admittedly, he said, since she was 14, Jill Biden, and there's photos of it. They're out there. They get taken off the second they get put on the internet. But he even said it like, oh yeah, I've been with Jill since she was 14, when she was his nanny. I think the way that you live your life, and you can see all kinds of old videos because he's been a career politician his entire life, saying horrific things, doing horrific things, touching people in horrific ways, men and women, mostly women. I think what you're seeing now is the degradation of somebody that has sown horrible things throughout their lives. Now what happens to their body and their mind? That is my opinion, but I believe that there are some people out there agree. If you agree with that statement, type the number 9. If you disagree with it, type 10. It says here, while a candidate must be 35 years old to run for the White House, there's no cap. Presidential hopeful Nikki Haley has suggested implementing an age limit to 75 to seek the presidency. Well, hey, Nikki Haley, I got a great idea. Well, you got all these great ideas popping out of your head? Why don't you start talking about term limits for Congress? Why don't you stop worrying about your competition? Just think about it. Why would Nikki Haley want to have an age limit so that she has a better chance of making presidency? Well, I got an idea, Nikki Haley. Why don't you work on getting all of you career politicians kicked out after one term or 2 terms? Why don't we do that? Because we'd have less people like Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein. Look at those winners. Why don't you do that? No, you won't do that. All you care about is yourself, just like the start of this video. Joe Biden doesn't care about White House cocaine. He doesn't care about what's on his son's laptop. He doesn't care about the money coming in and, paying him off from China. It doesn't matter. None of that crap matters. He cares about what people think about him. Are they going to think he's stupid? Yeah, Joe, you're dumb. You're stupid. But it's not because of a birth defect. It's because you have sown horrible things throughout your life and your career. You have been a part of bad things. And so now judgment falls on you while you are alive on this earth. And if you don't make some good decisions real quick, if you pass on, you're going to be finding out real quick what happens after death. I'm going to be honest with you. This isn't good. Now, none of us are perfect, right? Absolutely none of us are perfect. I screw up so much. It's pathetic. Every day I'm trying to constantly make a better form of myself, a version of myself. But I don't see that with our current president. I don't see that with our current Congress. I think they're delusional. But let's dive back into what the president's biographer has to say. Thor's book, The Last Politician. I thought that was Obama. His book, The Last Politician, Inside Joe Biden's White House and the Struggle for America's Future, provides a comprehensive inside account of the president's thinking and the ongoings of the Biden administration. The president that's mostly on vacation and not working. So I guess it's not really about the White House, it's about a vacation house. Just saying. It doesn't, now this is what he says, it doesn't take Bob Woodward to understand that Joe Biden is old, said Foer, adding, and I'm not a generalologist, I don't know what that is, and I can't predict how the next couple of years will age Joe Biden. I think what my book does is show that he's buried in details. My son did what again? Those are the details Joe Biden's actually into. He's somebody who is very technocratic, really obsessed with the intricacies, I would say idiocracies, of policy. He's a very activist president, in that he micromanages a lot of dealings in the White House. You mean the young girls that are coming in and out and he's touching awkwardly. Have you seen those videos? Absolutely disgusting. And people should just keep posting them on Twitter so then you can see them. See them. Everybody in the world talks about the only thing they've ever had on Trump is what he said verbally on a recording when he was trapped by Billy Bush, right? On a bus, which I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of men have said locker room talk. But those same men that complain about that and rail, look at what he said. I say, I got a video I can show you about our current president, and they all say the same thing. I do not want to see that because you don't want to come to grips with reality. This is insanity. I believe that we are being very blessed right now with this insanity. I'm going to be honest. I think if this guy sells 10 books, it would be a blessing because I don't think anybody cares about the Joe Biden presidency. The only people buying these books are totally woke schools, liberal schools that buy them and are going to try and make them mandatory reading to try and indoctrinate our children. I don't think this book's going to sell at all. I think that the truth is every time they try and stop Trump from coming back in, they're going to be met with so much resistance. It's insane. But not only that, it's just going to help. We're being extremely blessed with being able to see how corrupt our current system is because we're being woke up to truth. And that's the kind of woke I want to be part of. I want to be woke up. I want to be, what are you talking about? What do you mean this is going on? Is this really happening? I thought this was a dream. This is the truth. And it's time for us to take our stand. Well, how do you take your stand? Not everybody's made to go on social media. Not everyone's made to go on TV or write. But if you're not, if you are, do it. And if you're not, support the people that you agree with. Because, and how do you support them? Yeah, give them money. That's not the way. You share their content. You become emboldened to share their content. And I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about anybody you agree with. Uplift them, help them get their word out, get their voice magnified. Because we need good men and women, solid men and women to stand up. We also need good, solid men and women to help those that have the courage to stand up, to put themselves on that big old bullhorn and take the shots from the public that wouldn't like what they have to say. We need to be able to help them and amplify them. And that is what we have to do. And regardless of, I would be remiss not to share these things because I believe that my voice is being agreed with right now. As a matter of fact, if you agree with what I'm saying right now, type the number 13. And I know it's an interesting number to ask you to type, but I believe it's because there's always so many fears. And look at just the fact that you can't even have, most skyscrapers don't have a 13th story because of you got to be freaky. I'm not superstitious. I know the difference between truth and a lie. I know the difference between good and evil. And 13 represents something that's just sort of, you shouldn't. No, we're going to start breaking down barriers in this country. We're going to teach people how to gain wealth. We're going to teach people how they were robbed for centuries from bankers, from evildoers, and how those bankers infiltrated our government. The Federal Reserve was kicked out of our country twice. A different iteration of the Federal Reserve, but it was the exact same spirit, the same mentality and mind of a banker. And it got through in the early 1900s. And ironically, income tax came out a few years later. And we're going to show people how evil this system is and how it was built to enslave you and to encourage you to be dependent on the government. A government right now that is running completely reckless, and it has to be stopped. These are very serious days. And I thank you to everybody that subscribes to this channel, everybody that hits the bell notification, hits the thumbs up and comments, because it shows the algorithms what you want from different platforms. I hope you got something out of this. The Economic Ninja is out.